You know, Elon Musk sees this massive technological shift hurtling towards us, one that could totally redefine society as we know it. And he has a very specific blueprint for how we can navigate this thing to create a future of, well, unbelievable abundance. So let's dive in and break it down.
Right off the bat, Musk doesn't pull any punches. He calls it a supersonic tsunami. Think about that. It's not just about the scale of the change, it's about the speed. It's coming faster than we can even process, and it's going to reshape absolutely everything in its path.
So with a wave that big, it really forces a choice. Musk sees us at a fork in the road. One path, it leads to this incredible future of prosperity, exploration, kind of like Star Trek. The other path? Well, let's just say it's a lot more like Terminator. The big question is, how do we steer this thing in the right direction?
And this is where it gets really interesting. We see these two completely different futures, but Musk's prediction is that we're not just going to get one or the other. He thinks we're going to get both, at least during the transition. The potential for abundance and what he calls universal high income is totally real. But the road to get there, it's probably going to be paved with the social unrest and scarcity of that Terminator scenario, while all the old systems just fall apart. Okay, so before we can even get to the world-changing AI and robots, Musk argues we have to solve a much more basic problem. The absolute foundation for this entire future is energy. Plain and simple. If you want an age of abundance, you first need an abundance of power.
And for Musk, there is really only one energy source that truly matters. He looks at what we're doing now, all our other energy sources, and sees it as just primitive. It's like cavemen throwing a few twigs on a fire compared to the raw power of the sun. In his eyes, it's not just an option, it is the option.
And if you're wondering why he's so all in on solar, well, this chart says it all. The sun makes up over 99.8% of all the mass in our entire solar system. It's this giant, free fusion reactor that literally shows up for work every single day. Tapping into even a tiny fraction of that energy gives us more power than we could ever hope to create here on Earth.
So, the actual plan is a kind of 1-2 punch. First, you go crazy scaling up solar panels everywhere to soak up all that energy. But second, and this part is absolutely crucial, you use massive batteries to store it. That way, you've got power at night, on cloudy days. You create this huge energy buffer. You could literally double a country's energy output without building a single new power plant. All right, so once the energy problem is solved, you can finally power the next phase, a completely new kind of workforce. This is where artificial general intelligence and humanoid robots like Optimus step onto the scene and become the real engines of the global economy.
And Musk's timelines for this, they are just wild. He thinks AGI, that's AI smarter than any one person, could be here as early as next year. By 2029, he believes a robot like Optimus could perform surgery better than the world's best human surgeon. And by 2030, he predicts that the combined intelligence of all AI will be greater than all of humanity combined. It's a lot to take in.
So who gets hit by this first? You might think it's blue-collar jobs, but nope. Musk is super clear. Any job that's just a person, a keyboard, and a mouse, basically shuffling bits of information around. That's the easiest stuff to automate. That's the first to go. White-collar work is on the front lines here.
I mean, to really get the scale of this, just think back to when computer was actually a person's job title. You had entire skyscrapers full of people doing math by hand. Today, one single laptop running a spreadsheet can do all of that work faster and with zero errors. The companies that jump on AI with both feet will just demolish the ones that don't. It's not even going to be a fair fight.
Which, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all. If AI and robots are doing everything, from writing code to performing surgery, what's left for us? How does society, how does an economy even work when having a job is optional?
Yeah, let's just put the question right out there because it's what we're all thinking. If machines are making everything we need, our food, our houses, our medicine, how do we get any of it? How do we live?
Now, Musk's answer isn't universal basic income, or UBI. That's a government program paid for by taxes. He talks about universal high income, UHI. And the core idea isn't about giving everyone a check. It's about making everything so ridiculously cheap that you don't really need a lot of money. It's not about redistribution. It's about radical deflation caused by this explosion of productivity.
So here's the chain of events he sees. 1. AI and robots cause this insane boom in production. The amount of goods and services we can create just goes vertical. 2. This output grows way faster than the amount of money in the system. 3, that causes massive deflation, the opposite of inflation, so prices for everything just collapse. And 4, eventually stuff becomes so cheap it's basically accessible to everyone. That's your universal abundance.
Okay, so if all our physical needs are met, if survival is no longer what drives us every day, what on earth do we do? What's the point? What becomes the new grand challenge for humanity? Well, Musk thinks our whole purpose will shift from just surviving as individuals to advancing as a civilization.
The new goal becomes something on a cosmic scale. It's about climbing what's called the Kardashev scale, which is basically a way to measure how advanced a civilization is by how much energy it can use. The new mission isn't just to get by on Earth anymore. It's to learn how to harness the full power of our star.
And that opens up a whole new playbook for humanity. The big projects, our new quests, become things like becoming a multi-planetary species, spreading consciousness out into the galaxy, actually building the stuff needed to capture a real chunk of the sun's power. It's about ensuring that life, that consciousness, survives for the long term.
At the end of the day, even with a supersonic tsunami of disruption on the way, Musk's vision is incredibly optimistic. He truly believes that if we can just navigate this transition, the future waiting for us on the other side is going to be amazing, one of sustainable, incredible abundance for everyone.
And that really leaves us with the final and maybe the most personal question of all. In a world where all your needs are met, where you can have any product or service you want, and work is just something you do if you feel like it, what's going to give your life meaning? What will be your purpose?